Welcome back to NetLab 7, Creating and Managing vCenter Server Inventory. This is Richard Golson again, and I'm going to walk you through task 3, which is configuring the ESXi host as an NTP client. So NTP is the network time protocol, and this helps to maintain accurate time and date. So let's take a look how we're going to do this. So we have this new data center, and we have our new ESXi host. And so we're going to see how we can actually configure this through vCenter versus going to the host itself and through the host web interface. So I have this selected. I'm going to go to my Configure tab. And then I'm going to look for my time configuration, which will be below System. So if you scroll down here, here's my time configuration. So I'll select that. And then you can see your network time protocol, and you can see that the NTP client is disabled, which means that this ESXi server is standalone and it's not going to time sync with a network time protocol or NTP server. And you typically need that for your data center. And so we're going to go ahead and get this set up. So I'll hit the edit button here. And you'll see that I need to enable this. Now let's take a look here. If we take a look in the instructions, it's telling us that we're going to use this address because this is where the NTP service is running. So if we take a look at the topology here, this address 172.20.10.10, and I'm going to look for the 172.20.10, great, and I'm looking for the 10, and that's this guy. So this is the same very useful server that's been running in the environment for quite a while now. This is a Linux server, and we're running quite a few services off of it. So let's go ahead and drop back over to the vSphere client, and we'll go ahead and put that address in there. All right. And we'll start the NTP service. And we want it to start and stop manually. Notice that you have different choices under that. So we'll leave it as start and stop manually. And I also want to point out that in most environments, because NTP is such a critical piece of the environment, you'll have multiple servers or devices that can provide this functionality. You could even use, because it really doesn't need a lot of resources, you could use a set of Raspberry Pis for this. This is a great example of something where you could have a single purpose physical device providing this service for your environment. In which case, if I had multiple NTP servers, I would just put in a comma and add the additional addresses. This is a comma separated list. So we only have the one. We set it to start the NTP service. We want it started, and we're going to leave this alone. I'll hit my OK. And give it time. You'll see that it started the service. We can see that over here. Drag this up a little bit so we can see a little bit more information off of here. There we go. And you'll see that it's also opened the firewall port to allow that NTP client to interact with the NTP server. So you can see a little bit of information down here, plus that activation policy right there. So great. We have this service configured. It looks like it's currently running. It's all set up. If you don't see the information, you can hit the refresh here. I do want to point out when it says that this is inactive, it's essentially saying that the manual time configuration is inactive because we want to use the automatic time configuration. Now, a little bit more about NTP. So if I jump over to enable NTP client, I did want to point out in the documentation here, it points the importance of using it when logging your information in a large environment. So we have to ensure that our log times are coordinated. You can imagine if you're going through the logs, you had evidence of maybe some malfeasance, you want to find out when and where. We need to ensure that all the logs across all of our servers have the same, are coordinated by time. And so you can see this is a really important point for auditing. Okay. Last couple little things, you'll notice that now that we've added the ESXi server to, or the host to our data center, we can do a lot of management from here. So you'll also notice that we have the licensing under system. So you can see that license that we applied. We can assign a license, so we have to update the license. We also have the networking. So we really have the full complement of tools available now that we've added it to the data center. All right, so that's it for this video. When we come back, we'll take a look at the next task. I'll see you then.